What's going on, everybody? It's Pyro. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate all the feedback, the comments, and everything that I've been receiving. And the number one thing I keep getting asked is, what are the best heroes for fillers to use? So I decided, hey, let's do a little testing at the Capitol. First, say thank you to Stay243. Obviously, there was a little bit of drama with it, but all in all, most of the bigs stayed out of it and just really let other people practice today, learn, get that experience. Hopefully, that will help us in the future. So yeah, it was cool to watch that Capitol. Before I get into what setups that I'm going to use and what I was doing, first I want to say thank you to Master Gene, the Executioner, people like LSK Donnie, Virus, Fortune Cookie, Boom, and many others. You keep sending me great feedback that I'm able to use and to use in these videos. So I appreciate that. And special thanks to everybody who watches these videos. If you would, hit that like button for me. Hit subscribe. We're about to go over 1,000 subscribers. And that'll be an awesome feat. So hit that subscribe. So what I'm going to do for this test is we're going to do 3 rallies. We're going to reset the tower every time so we have a fresh load of troops, we have good troop ratios, and we have the heroes we want. The rest of the state's leaving us alone, so it's just RVN and WAP running these tests. And so thank you for BH Owl, thank you to Adri, Sites, Mia, and Ginger and the rest of your crew for helping us out with this. All right, so the number one person that everyone messages me and tells me that they believe is the best hero for it, Miho seems to be the common factor. So we're testing Miho first. And yes, I will say in hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have said put her as the lead, but when every single person recommends Miho to me, I really wanted to get a good test for that. One other thing I'd like to point out here with this is we do not have the alternate set of Gen 4 heroes that many older states have. I don't know all the exact states, but I know they're older than State 243 that have people like Ernie and that generation. And I know how many people have said use Ernie, but I can't. And most of State of Survival can't. So no testing with Ernie. I did use Daryl, but what you're going to see from them and from us is a common factor. We're using the exact same troop ratios, and they're sending the exact same attack at us each time so that our tests can be a little more accurate. All right, so there's the first one. You can see I've got 190,000 left after they hit. We each had 1.1 million. So we'd filled it up right there at the last second. But let's look. As you see with the troop ratios, most everybody had Miho in there. 2 didn't, but for the most part, they had Miho going. And the 2 that didn't, even though I was trying my best to make sure everybody had Miho, they had good heroes. But so we had 190,000 left after that. So now we're going to step up and go to the next one. For the next setup, I promise I looked through a ton of my personal messages, and I apologize that I cannot name who told me this. Like I said, I get a lot of messages, so I apologize for not giving credit where credit's due. But somebody messaged me and told me to use Candy. They said they've been using Candy for a long time, and that she's a stellar hero for the Capitol or other buildings. And I love the thought of testing this because, as you've heard me say, this game is not always a Hulk smash mentality. Just because you have the strongest heroes doesn't mean they're the best heroes for each event or situation that you're in. So for this one, we're going to test out Candy. So while I sit here and let this work through. Let me touch back on a couple things. BHL is the one setting the rallies. He's either maxed or darn near it. So our stats are very similar. When we went back and we looked at the troops in all 3 rallies, very similar fillers and troops. There's no big variance. It wasn't all of a sudden one of these rallies was a bunch of Plasma 5 and the next a bunch of Plasma 1 or 2. I think testing's huge in this game because there's a lot of variables that we don't see, a lot of weighted factors that we don't have measurable data on. I don't think King's Group has done very well with letting us see certain aspects because they're not in reports. You're not going to see in any one of these reports what the fillers heroes did for it. It's just going to happen. And so that's why it's important to test these things and gain knowledge of it. And by all means, if you know a hero that I don't, I'm not a know-it-all. I don't know everything. You can see I'm testing today on some things I ain't never tried before. But I'm willing to learn. And I think if we share information with each other, we can help each other out and grow stronger. So here's the countdown here for Candy. I think this was the one I was most excited to try just because it's a non-legendary hero. In fact, everybody looked at me weird, like, why are we using Candy? And look at that. Oh my God. 505,000 survived. So the first one, 190,000 survived. It was a heavy Miho filling group. This time, the rider was Candy that we used. That's the only difference. Over 300,000 difference. Well, 295,000, but that's a huge. That's a significant change. So what I wanted to do next was I wanted to use the best. I wanted the people that had Jess to lead with Jess. I wanted the people who had Ernie and not had Jess yet to lead with Ernie. So I basically said best fillers, okay? This is the approach of most people, is just send your best. And I don't know what you and your team do, but I can tell you that I study battle reports. I'm heavy into them during state versus state, during Reservoir Raid. I'm looking for what they're using, what's going on with what they're leading with, their stats, and who's filling in with what. I can tell you that 99% of the time when I'm reviewing battle reports, I don't see something set up strategically with the fillers heroes. And what I see is most people just send their best. So let's try our best and see what happens. Okay, so 420,000 left. I mean, that might not sound significant. 505,000 left, 420,000 left. That's huge. That's a massive difference from sending your very best to sending just a one slight change of having Candy as your rider. I know there's probably some better heroes out there, and I'm going to keep testing them for you and for me so that we can get better together. I hope this video helps. Please don't hesitate to hit me up on Discord, on YouTube, in the game, State 243, just northwest of the capital. I love the ideas that keep coming at me, so keep sharing, and I'll keep trying to put out some good content for you and your teams. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. I appreciate your support. Don't be afraid to like, share, or subscribe. Hit that subscribe. Only like 10 more till I hit 1,000.